Hi, beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. And if you have not as yet, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, right? Like and subscribe to my channel. My channel is all about spirituality, self-development, and just developing yourself totally, not only in the physical, but also spirituality as well. Because my channel also speaks about spiritual concepts, spiritual development, and how we can become better people on a spiritual level and also on a physical level, right? So today's topic is going to be about basically we are humans, right? But we're so focused on the physical that we don't really give much notice on the physical side of who we truly are. Okay, because we are human beings, right? However, we are basically spirits having a human experience, right? So we mostly spirit, and then we are expressing or in the game of life in a human form, okay, but then so above, so below kind of thing, you know what I mean? Because the spirit is more superior. That's where we come from, right? So in on our physical bodies, we connected to the divine, right? Because we have our chakras, because it's of the energy fields that we actually have, right? Our chakras and our subtle bodies, which are not really seen by most people with the human eye, right? You've got to be like of higher type of frequency for you to actually see those type of things. But today we're going to speak about the subtle side of who we are, which is our subtle bodies, and we'll specifically speak more about the etheric body today, right? So basically there are seven subtle bodies, right? Most people only know about the aura, which is the etheric body. Most people know about that because it's well spoken about. It is a big topic, okay? People even want to study about the aura. There's even a camera that even takes a picture of one's aura, right? However, there are seven, basically, starting with your physical body. Your physical body is part of your subtle body, basically. It's actually more solid. It's a physical body. It's more solid and anchored in this reality, but it does play part in who we truly are, the seven parts of the human body. The physical body, the etheric body, the emotional body. That one's also spoken much about, the emotional body, and then the mental body as well, which is like the subconscious mind, the conscious mind, the superconscious mind, right? That's a mental body. And then we have the spiritual body. Then we have number six, the soul body, and then number seven, the divine body. Okay. Now, this is also in connection with your levels of awareness and awakeness when you're speaking about these bodies, because as you become more aware and more enlightened and more expanded, right, you're able to then experience each level in its totality. So, in other words, you move away from the third dimension right up, in other words, okay? So the third dimension is the physicality, the body itself. So when you anchor on the body, you only know that this is me, this is my body, this is me, I, right? With the ego included as well, okay? Then the etheric body or the subtle body, also known as the aura, is basically that part of you that is the first layer of your field, right? The human field, that energy, okay? It serves as a blue energetic blueprint, okay, of the matrix body, right? It's very important for you. It's like an energetic double of your physical form, okay, and it is connected to your health, your force, your vitality, right? That's the part that's connected to your health, your source, your force, your vitality, okay? However, right, this body, right, is not really known much by people except for the studies that we have been getting now, right? So you, as an ordinary person living in the third dimensional states of mind, so focus in the physical and the ego. Thank you for joining my live. Today we're speaking about the subtle bodies, okay? I spoke about the seven, so now I'm talking specifically. I mentioned the seven, but now I'm talking specifically about the etheric body. The etheric body is your aura. Your aura is a representation of your energies within your physical body, right? So it actually represents your energies of your physical body, which is, okay, the things that you feed your body with, okay, your thoughts, your mind, because that's other parts of your physical body or your aura, okay? Now, when your physical body is not in high frequency, because it's connected to your chakras as well. Okay, the last time I spoke about the chakras, there were 7 of them, starting from the base chakra, which is a foundation of you, of what you think about yourself. Okay, your lower chakra is the first 3, your base chakra, which is in red, right? That chakras grounds you. It's about belonging to this earth, about having a sense of safety and grounding in this reality. That's what it is, okay? And then the second one is your sacral, which is more about your creativity, your enjoyment in life, your pleasures of life, right? Because that's your pleasure center. Remember, we have to create, but also enjoy what we're creating, okay? And then your solar plexus, which is your third chakra, which is basically your sense of self, your foundation of who you are, okay? Sense of self-confidence, knowing who you are, and it also speaks with the lower chakras, because all the chakras all kind of affect each other, right? So the base chakra will help your sacral, you know what I mean? And your sacral and your base will help your solar plexus. So they kind of add on, they build onto who you are. Now you're becoming, in your totality of being human, you got a sense of this is me, okay? I'm safe here, I'm grounded here. I can now create and express myself, okay? I can also allow myself to enjoy the pleasures of life, you know what I mean, from the sacral, okay? And then I said the solar plexus, and then we go up to the heart chakra. Now we moving up to higher realms, okay? Moving up to higher realms of existence within who we are, okay? So your heart chakra is that place where you now connect to the divine. Remember, firstly, you are the divine. So self-love is so important, okay? It's not only about loving others, but also loving yourself. So when your heart chakra is opened, it means that now you accepted yourself, you love yourself, and now you're open to love others. You understand? That's what the heart chakra is about. It's not only about loving other people, it's about loving yourself. So people have a lot of trauma in the lower chakras, and in their heart chakras closed. That's why I'm telling you guys that all the chakras in the 7 chakras are all connected, and all the others, because it's like 108, okay? But the ones that we're talking about now is the main foundational chakras of who we are. Hi, every person. Hello. Thank you for joining my live. Today we are speaking about the energy sides of us, the subtle sides of us that we don't really pay attention to. Human beings are so focused on the physical, always focusing on the physical, about the body, about the hair we have, the body, dressing the body, feeding the body, taking care of the body, but we're not taking care of the energetic side of us. We're not focusing on that part. And that's why I think the evolution and awakening of mankind is slow, because we're not focusing on the spiritual, energetic sides of us. We actually deny it, or we're afraid of it, right? Because of traumas, of religion, and all the other stuff, okay? So every single person on this earth at this time has a lineage, right? Has how would I say, ancestry type of background in your bloodline. So each single person's bloodline, your family, your bloodline, does affect who you are, and it also creates the traumas, because then you inherit the traumas as well. Because you inherit the DNA, you also inherit the traumas, the strengths, and the weaknesses. Now that sits in your chakra. So now you're walking around in this life thinking all is well, that you are this body that you look at in the mirror, not understanding there's other things on the back end that also are playing, and you're wondering now in your physical body why I'm having so many problems, okay? Because you haven't understood that you're more than just a physical person. You're also the energetic, spiritual being within, okay? So when you get to become awakened, you get to want to understand those things, and you want to actually begin to feel that, something very energetic about me. I'm not just a physical person that I see in the mirror. I'm not this person with this political identity, going with an identity number and stuff like that. I'm also a divine energy. I'm a divine spirit, okay? So these energy bodies are very important, okay? So I spoke about the heart chakra. That was the last one I spoke about. And then your throat. Your throat chakra is very important, because you need to be heard in this reality, in this physical reality. You need to be heard, right? You need to have a voice and expression, or where you express yourself, okay? Now, expression verbally says that I am safe, I know who I am, and I know where I'm going, and I know what I want, and I know how I'm going to get it, okay? I am deserving of freedom of expression. So when you're expressing something, it's a part of creation. So your connection, yeah, with your throat chakra is your sacral. Your sacral chakra is also the place of creation, all right? However, it takes, that's the where you actually got the ideas, the stimulation, the aha moments, the triggers of life comes from that section, right, of your sacral. You got these ideas to create, okay? Then your throat chakra, what it does, it express all the ideas within the sacral chakra, because they connected. So your sacral and your throat chakra, all about the creation expression, okay? Right? The verbal expression and the doing expression, the ideologies, the inspiration, so they work together. As I said earlier on, all the chakras are kind of connected, because when you're only focusing on one, the higher chakras, the lower chakras are not going to be tended to, and all the traumas of life, all the things that you need to deal with will be ignored. And then you'll open up these higher ones, and then you find that you're having spiritual psychosis because you're not stable anymore. Because remember, those energies are going to be pulled up, they're going to be activated. All that trauma, from ancestral trauma to this current lifestyle trauma, shall be then activated, because you are going to the top and you're not actually focusing on all the mess at the bottom, the things that you need to really sort out, okay? All the shadows of your family bloodline and your own shadows, things that you've been suppressing, the traumas, the pains, and everything, all sits in the lower chakras that you need to sort those out. That's why there's a bridge called the heart. So the heart opens you up to the higher chakras. When you say, well, I've dealt with all the human mundane life, physical problems and issues about myself, my self-esteem, my self-awareness, so I know who I am, I know that I'm worthy, I'm feeling safe and grounded in this reality. Now I want to go to the higher realms. Now I'm ready to experience the other subtle parts of me, not just the physical stuff, you know. That's what the higher chakra is all about, the higher experience of being human, right? Being human, being a human being, having a being a spirit, sorry, having a human being experience, right? Okay. Now, you get from the throat chakra, you go to the third eye. Now, the third eye, which is the most populist one, very popular chakra, because everybody wants to open their third eye. Everyone wants to have their clairvoyance busted and open. People want to know things, right? They're curious. They want highness, not understanding that the lower stuff also needs to be also seen to as well, right? So the third eye is a lovely place where you get your intuition, right? It's also a place where you open things that you're not seeing from the front. That's why they got the picture that showed the third eye, right? That we don't see the eye. That means it's just basically the connection to the higher realms, okay? And then your crown chakra. Now your crown chakra, it's a beautiful space because it opens you up to higher levels of experience, higher levels of expression of spirituality, of true who you truly are. So when you want to connect to, like for example, the angels or your guides, like they also can help you, you know, like for example, when you're meditating and stuff like that. So the crown chakra is a beautiful place. It's just, yeah, most people feel it, like myself. Since I'm a meditator, I meditate for many years, and I meditate every day, at least twice, at least minimum twice a day. Very important, because it connects you with yourself, it grounds you, okay? That's one of the ways we can also get to feel our energy centers within our chakras, and then also get to understand how the aura is connected to the chakras, okay? Because when you engage, you shall feel it, okay? So it's all about you and the focus, what you are focusing on, what you're engaging in, right? That will also help in more information. Because what happens is this: when spirit sees that you're ready for new information, then information shall come through, right? They could talk about the downloads of life, right? Of awareness. When you get downloads and understandings, because now you are ready. You've been focusing on all the spiritual things, right? So when you're first focusing on the physical things, you get that information regards to the physical stuff, okay? Because you're only focusing on the physical stuff, my body, keeping it strong and fit, going to the gym, doing all these sportive things and all those things, right? And you get those type of information linked to that. You see, for every part of a human being, there's a need for a focus. So as you're focusing on different things, you get information aligned to what you are focusing to, right? Now, let's go back to the subtle bodies. Okay, talking now about the etheric body. The etheric body is around you, the aura, right? A lot of people can see the aura, but they don't even understand what it is. I mean, a lot of people can see it, but they shut it down, because remember that spirit doesn't force itself. Spirit does not force itself. A lot of people can see auras, right? But because they don't understand what it is, they shut it down. Then they don't get to see it because you're shutting it down, right? And then those people that want to see it can learn to see and concentrate on the aura. So let's go back and speak more about this aura, right? The aura, the subtle body, the human subtle body, right? Very important part of who you are, right? An expression, I said again, of what your body is and your seven chakras, right? As I said, the etheric body, or the aura, is the first densest layer of the human field, right? And it serves as an energetic matrix for the physical body, right? It's like an energetic double of the physical body. So you can say it's like your blueprint of your spiritual self, right? Because your body is the blueprint of your physical side, right? Okay, it also is connected to your life force, your chi, and your vitality and your health. Very important, because you are energy. Human beings are energy. We are all just energy, okay? And everything else that's surrounding this matrix is just energy, all right? All right, so the composition and location, where is it located? It's about a half an inch to 2 inches from your skin, right? Which is outside your skin, just outside your skin, a half or 2 inches outside your skin, okay? And basically, it's made of vital energy, sometimes called prana, chi, right? Or ka in Egyptian language, right? That's one is not very common, but we all know about chi, we all know about prana, because the Sanskrit version of the energy we're speaking about is called prana. The Chinese version of the energy we're speaking about is called chi. Okay, right. Now, this composed of a subtle web, right, around your body, a web of energy, of light. It looks like a shimmering light when you actually look at it. Like they say, you must go against a white wall, or or a white background, and you will stand there, and then you can also focus on the person's top of the head, or in the middle of the person's forehead, and then you can see it. But you got to do it long enough. So people lose patience, right? Basically, because we don't have the patience. For you to focus and go into the spiritual things, you need to have patience, because everything needs patience, and your focus needs patience. So people are too busy on the grind, they don't get to see these things, they don't really bother those things. It's not even in their worldviews, you understand? Yeah. So the next thing we need to understand the function of the aura. X is a bridge of the physical body, right? And higher energy. So it's a bridge between the physical body and the higher energies. That's how you can connect to divine source. It's how you even attract things in your physical mundane life, right? Because of your aura. Your aura isn't like a magnet, right? It brings forth things, all sorts of things aligned to your aura, your energy type, the frequency of your aura, the frequency of you, right? So that's why they say you attract who you are, right? The major way we do it is because our auras are like magnets, okay? They're like magnets, basically, attracting all these different situations and people and circumstances, okay? Right. So we'll go on now about this whole composition. I mean, the function, by the function. We spoke about the fact that it is a bridge between the physical body and energetic body. The energetic body is your emotional body, and your mental body, and your astral body. Okay. This really intrigued me when I found out years ago that we have an emotional body. Because in your mind, in your picture of life, you're thinking that your emotions, you don't really understand where your emotions really sits. You just think it's just an expression of a feeling. You don't understand it. There's actually a space around you where these things actually sit your emotional body, which is part of your subtle bodies, right? Which is just outside your aura, right? Let me go on. So the function, it also channels life force from the cosmic source. So it channels life force, energy from the cosmic source. The cosmic source is divine source, right? The universe. All right. It governs a cellular regeneration and human immune strength and overall vitality, right? So it governs your cellular regeneration, your cells, when your cells like die and they regenerate, basically. And also your immune system is linked in your body. It's your digestive system, right? And it's your lungs. There's a number of parts of you which are a combination of your immune system, not just one part. So the big major parts is your digestive system and your lung area, right? And in other parts as well, like that certain types of areas of the blood circulation is all parts of the immune system. But the major part is your digestive system. Okay, those are very important. When your digestive system is out off, then your health and your immune system is low, compromised, right? So the interacts with the chakras and the meridians. The chakras and the meridians are the energy parts, the energy veins, you may call it, energy parts, which are linked to your chakras. Okay. Now, as I said before, okay, and it's seven subtle bodies, right? And it's seven chakras. So it makes you think that each such subtle body is connected to a certain chakra, because there's seven, right? The number of seven in matrix, in this reality, is actually a big thing because it governs a lot of things. That's why the number seven is seen to be divine. It's a connection to the divinity, okay? Because everything is governed by the seven. It's either the seven, the three, or the 12, right? That's what I've noticed. 7, 3, or 12, very important numbers or in numerology, right? So we're talking about how it connects to the meridians and the chakras, okay? So the ethereal body distributes energy through these chakras, the 7 chakras or even more, okay? In the body, there's 7, right? And then around them, there's more. So all together, in this whole thing called human body is like 108 or things, something like that, sure. But in different places, but the most important key ones or the 7 ones that are very popular, very spoken about, right? So the nadis and the meridians or subtle energies, pathways used in yoga, right? That's where they do their stretches and they open themselves up. This is something I found very interesting because when I was in the church, we were told that yoga is not good, that yoga is demonic. Okay, I could never understand what they were talking about because for me, it's just an exercise. People are just stretching. People are stretching, they're meditating. That's good for you. Now, I couldn't understand like why, because at one stage I actually suggested yoga in my church when I was one in the youth, right, in a leadership. I actually suggested it, and then they told me that, oh no, we can't do that. I said, but why? But isn't it just exercise and stretching? You ladies are complaining that you're unfit, you're picking up weight and all those things, right? So let's try yoga. Maybe yoga can help. Maybe get a yoga instructor and everything. They meditate. No, that's all demonic. I said, okay. Only years later, when I left the church and I started doing spiritual stuff and went to spiritual practices, then I learned these things. Okay, these specific exercises open you up. They open you up to spirit, and in any person that is Christian, they taught that's demonic somehow, because of the fact that there's new energies that are coming through, and then different parts of you, different portals of you will be open, and you're able to actually find your divinity. You understand? So they actually don't want the people to find their divinity, because when somebody that practices like meditation and yoga, breathing, and that's pranayama, yoga, breathing and stretching, you're opening certain portals within your body and your mind, actually, right? And your chakras, because all that is all opening up, and then you're connecting to source. you're becoming like a magnet now. You're opening up like a flower. You know, when a flower opens up and the sun shines on it, it's getting fed by the sun. So we need to be open up so that we can be fed by the sun of divine source, love and peace and wellness and vitality, not only in the physical, but also in the spiritual. Okay, that's why they say that religion has dumbed down people because they're not allowed, they're told that opening yourself and opening your energies and understanding that you're more than your body is demonic. They're afraid of that. They're afraid of people becoming aware and being activated to their true self. They don't need to go to a church anymore. You don't need to feel like you're a victim, or you don't even feel like you were a sinner. You understand that you're divine. You know, when your awareness opens up, then you know that, I'm so great. I'm so awesome. I can actually solve my own problems without running to a church. You know, things like that. So then for centuries, people are kept in that mindset, right? So when I learned these things, I said, oh, okay, this is why. Wonderful information on who we truly are, that we are divine, right? And these 7 subtle bodies I spoke about, right? One of them being the etheric body, your aura, is very important, okay? That's why they always say, be careful of who you be, who you with, who you associate with, where you go. Be careful of what you're thinking. Be careful of what you're doing. All those things are all linked as well, because if you or somebody that wants to have a healthy aura, you got to consider those things. What am I eating? What am I thinking? What is my lifestyle? What is my worldview? Am I having low frequency thoughts? Because all these things work together. You, in totality, the body, the mind, right? The spirit, the soul, they're all one part of one big soup of who we are. And we need to be aware of the fact that each part of us needs to be kept healthy, open, and expanded, right? And how we can do that by, number one, the big thing we teach now in life coaching and in spirituality is positive thinking all the time. Not to say that you're going to ignore the negative things, but you're also going to be aware that everything is passing, and whatever you focus on really grows. So if you're going to be thinking about the negative things because they are happening in your life now, or they're happening in the world, right? You focusing on those negative things all the time and zoning on them doesn't make them better, doesn't make them go away. It makes them stand concrete and makes more bad things come in because it causes a frequency. You understand? So human beings with our auras and our emotions and all those things are all frequencies. So we pass off the collective frequency. So we are now all 7 billion or 8 billion of people are all generating certain type of frequencies because of their lifestyles, right? And our auras are also attracting more of the same that we align to, right? Because of our auras, right? Very interesting concept, okay? And when you're not aware about these things, and you wouldn't know how to even take care of yourself on the physical plane, on the spiritual plane. You'll never know, right? So any blockages and weaknesses of the etheric body can manifest fatigue, yes, illness and energetic imbalances. As what we call imbalance, a dis-ease. When your aura or etheric body is not balanced, when your etheric body is not balanced, it creates a weakness. Excuse me, a weakness and open sickness, disease, right? Any blockages and weakness in etheric body can cause fatigue, right? Your body is not well, you're not sleeping well, you're overworked, illness and energetic imbalance. Let me have some water. Illness and energetic imbalance. Okay, very important to know. So we only taught that illness is just a physical thing. It's not. It's also an energetic thing as well. Illness is not just a physical thing. It's also an energetic thing, a spiritual thing. Okay. Right. So these are things that we need to be aware about, right? That illness is not only a physical thing, it's also an energetic thing. Because it's proven. It's proven that things like depression. Depression is a mental illness, a mental imbalance, right? It's caused by energetic factors as well. Your thoughts, caused by your thoughts about what you've been exposed to, can actually also cause depression, right? Because everything is energy. What have you been exposed to? Have you been under trauma? Have you been traumatized? Have you been abused? You know, um, or you been exposed to negative people and situations that bring you down? Or is your family members that you exposed to people that are always negative and thinking negative things and pessimistic? You know, they can also cause a person that affects your aura, especially you're not well self-governed. Self-governed means that you're able to govern yourself. You're able to control your own self and make your own choices, right, in life. And you're self-governed and understand that when you make choices, you understand clearly that you have choice, right? To either speak to people that are negative and be with people that are negative and associate with people that are negative, or people that are gaslighters, or people that are narcissists, or people that are abusive. You have a right. This is your body, and you have the right where you put your body, right? You have a right where you put your body and who you associate with. Very important, right? Those things can also cause depression when you don't have that boundaries. Self-governing boundaries, set the boundaries, choose the people that you're going to be with, choose the people that you're going to be with that's going to help you, you understand, to create boundaries, be self-governing. They can also help you, or it can help your frequency as well, right? Very important factor here. So as I said, any blockages and weakness in the aura can cause and manifest illness, fatigue, energy imbalances, right? So these energy imbalances, after years and years and years and years, or maybe even months of being exposed to negative energy, it can cause you to feel sick. It can cause you to feel depressed. And when you're depressed long enough on a continuous basis, it also causes your thing to manifest into sicknesses. You understand, like sicknesses like certain cancers, even all cancers, it's imbalance, right? That kind of thing. And remember that even inflammation, when your body gets inflamed, okay, it's been exposed to a lot of toxic stuff. Like when you are sick, basically your body gets inflamed, right? Because of the toxicity, the negative flow of energies, in other words, of the air environment that you've been in, or the food you've been eating, which is not good flowing food. You know, that's why they say things are like dairy and too much animal products cause inflammation of the bodies, right, of the body, which causes your chakras to and your things to be blocked as well, because the energy is not flowing freely anymore. You understand? These are things we need to understand when it comes to our bodies. It's not a straightforward thing. There's a lot of things that are happening on the back end. That's why there's a big story of people going plant-based now, and people going vegan, not only because of the caring of the animals and all the other stuff, but also because of the physicality issue, the physical health that we need in this reality, right? We need physical health in our lives in this reality. So it's very important. So when people think that veganism is only like activism against the abuse of animals, it's not. It's also about human beings being more healthy, being more fertile, yeah. Vitality, in other words, needs to be in your body, and you need to eat foods full of vitality. So these energy subtle bodies need us to eat food with vitality, fresh vegetables and fruits, clean water, okay? All those things that are really good for us, whole foods, not processed foods. Over processed foods can cause these chakras and these energy bodies, and including your ethereal body, to be sluggish, and then starts operating negatively, not well. No energy flow going through prana and stuff like that, depending on the person's practices as well, right? Depending on your practice. Now, remember what you eat, what you do, what you think, all those things, what you engage with in life can cause a problem as well, right? So, perceived vibrant sensations. Okay, now I'm reading on number 40. Speaks about perceived by sensitive individuals. Okay, they speak about people that are sensitive, right? People that have clairvoyance gifts and they focus on them. So, other people, it shows up very early in their life when they're very young, right? We all have a sense of clairvoyance as young children. However, that also gets dumbed down and it gets taken away from us because we're told to focus on the physical things. When you tell your parents, what is that, daddy? What is that? I can see that. Oh, no, you're just daydreaming. Oh, it's nothing. Focus on something else because they don't see it. So they shut their children down. That's what happens, basically, right? And then they're told that, no, that thing that you're doing is not right. And in religious environments or families, you're told that it's demonic. Oh, you have a what they call it, a friend that you cannot see. That type of thing. Yeah, that's spirit connecting with the child, communicating with the child. But then parents will tell them that no, it's demonic, that it's not right. You going crazy or whatever. Depending on the family's teachings and doctrines. Okay, and what they exposed to. Right, the role and development of the spiritual development. It says the role in spiritual development. The aura, what it does, the role that it plays in spiritual development, okay? A strong and clear etheric body is essential for activating your spiritual gifts, right? Number one, like clairvoyance and healing, okay? This makes sense because when I started doing like fasting, cleansing my body, um, eating plant-based foods, meditating, my clairvoyance was then open, okay? When I started doing shadow work as well, working on the things that are actually my problem in my life experience, okay? The subtle stuff that's been affecting my life experience and my choices and what I'm manifesting, my shadow, my fears. I started working on those things, very important as well. So what it does, it actually activates it. So when you work on your clearing your etheric body or your aura, it helps for your clairvoyance gifts to be open, right? Self-expansion and of your consciousness, okay? Safe, not even self, sorry, my mistake. It says there, safely expanding your consciousness, because I made these notes, right? It's safely expanding your consciousness, right? So then if you're working on your aura, working on your chakras, working on your food that you're eating, the places you go to, the people you associate to, your core thoughts and your actions, are they aligned to love? Are they aligned to well-being? Are they aligned to you being in the safe space in your mind consciously? Remember, it's also connected to your mental health, big time, right? Because you know that when you are depressed and suffering from depression, your mental health is unstable. It's normally linked to your physical practices, what you're eating, where you're going, who you've been exposed to, what are you exposing yourself to. You understand? That can also cause depression. As if you don't have a mental disorder, okay? Right, but anyway, um, it also helps to purify and strengthen yourself, okay? So they say, yeah, it must purify and strengthen before you standing in the high spiritual planes, assessing the astral body. Okay, so in other words, it's saying for you to raise your frequency and reach higher levels of awareness, it's good for you to work on your aura, your etheric body, on what you are exposing yourself to, including your thoughts, including the people that you speak to, everything, every single thing. It's a whole holistic, total type of experience that you need to actually work on, okay? Signs of a weak or depleted body, etheric body. Chronic fatigue and burnout, top of the list, okay? Chronic fatigue and burnout, that is top of the list. Number two, feeling spaced out. Feeling spaced out or disconnected with your body. That, you know what I mean? That's why they talk about grounding when you're meditating. When you're a spiritual person and you are doing a lot of meditations, you're eating well, maybe even a raw vegan, whatever you're doing, right? And you're doing all the yoga stretches, you're opening every portal of yourself. You get open to a lot of frequencies. And if you're not grounded, it becomes a problem. Then your mind is kind of always spaced out, right? Remember that even people that are highly awake can also be in the space of imbalance if they don't balance themselves out. That's why they speak about you not being truthful about your experience, working on your on the dogma of life, of your specific life, your traumas, all your shadows. Work on them, because of the fact that it also, when you open, you end up attracting energies that can actually feed and take advantage of your weaknesses, your shadows. If you haven't integrated your shadows, you haven't faced them, you haven't accepted, those traumas, those entities will use your own weakness and work against you, basically. That's why you need to be a grounded spiritual person. Be aware, not always spaced out and thinking about on spiritual things, but we are in the physical body, so we are human. There's physical things too, yeah. Instead of you totally, it's like going to the extreme. In other words, try and avoid the extremes. You understand? Try and avoid the extreme expression of being human. The other part is just the physical part, and then the other part is just the spiritual part. Try and find a middle part, right? They always speak about that. I think Ellen Watts speaks about the middle part. Always find the middle part, even in your spiritual practices, right? That's why you need to ground yourself. Very important. Okay, difficulty concentrating and grounding. Right now, your aura is, your etheric body is not healthy when you have a problem concentrating and grounding yourself. So I'm thinking that people that have a major problem, like difficulty with meditating and finding silence, or actually have a very unbalanced, unhealthy aura that needs to be first cleansed out. So if they say to you, you need to now look at your habits, stop eating meat, animal products, processed foods, start drinking more water, have more sleep, eat raw vegetables, like cooked vegetables that are not like cooked to death. But when you are cooking your vegetables, make sure that you don't like char them totally, because you need the vitality of that vegetables is your energy, so you must not like burn your energy, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. You just eat good food. Try and find ways of preparing your vegetables in a more healthier way, like steaming instead of frying, that kind of thing. Just you have to make your decisions, right? So these are things that can help you to be able to clear your aura. And then a weak immune function. When your immune system is weak, it means that the energy, your etheric body, is also compromised, because you compromised your body, you compromise your energies, your chakras, by living an unhealthy, unbalanced lifestyle, lack of sleep, holding unforgiveness, all the energy things, right? Energetic things, unforgiveness. Get my point? All this can also cause problems like a weak immune system. Someone's always stressing about life. You can't forgive people. That can cause your immune system to drop, because you constantly see people and you're constantly frustrated and you constantly cannot let go of the past. That's an energetic issue, okay? After a long time, maybe even years of living like that, it can cause an immune system problem. It can also cause things like cancers. You see, very important. Then sensitivity to external energies and environment as well, okay? When you're too sensitive as well, you see, as I said, you need to find the balance, the middle part, as Ellen Watts says, the middle part, okay? So the etheric body is an ancient, the etheric body is in ancient traditions, a lot of them, like the yogi traditions, right? The Kabbalah and the Chinese medicine traditions as well. These are all old type of traditions that speak about the etheric body, or the aura. Okay. Let's go on here. So it's very important to understand that your chakras are part of your aura. Your body is part of your aura. Your thoughts and your mind as well are part of you, that energetic part of you. Now we'll talk about the emotional body. The emotional body is that part of you that governs your emotions, okay? And with every trauma in your life and every experience, your emotional body is either expanded or extracted, or, you know what I mean? Or there's emotions that are kept there, blocked in their emotional body, okay? The emotional body is your astral body, okay? So when people pass away, their first stop is the astral. They go to the astral place first, okay, before they let go of the emotional body and raise up to higher realms of existence. When I learned this, it made me understand why we have ancestors, why we're still able to connect to our ancestors, people that we loved that passed, because of the astral plane. The astral plane has many levels as well. Okay, this is what I understand, and I was told that the astral plane has many levels. Okay, so the emotional body, right, or the astral body, right, it extends further than the ethereal body, much further out, and it shifts in color with your mood as well. Okay, it shifts of color with your mood. So when you do your dream work and you go into the astral, okay, you're using your astral body. Okay, very careful. You got to be careful with these type of things. Don't just practice things you don't understand. A lot of people are very interested in doing astral travel and all the other stuff, right? But you need to understand what is it, right? How to do it, and the dangers of it, the pros and the cons of doing astral travel. You need to have information before you start doing things like that, right? So then your mental body is a very important part of yourself, because the mental body is connected with your consciousness, right? Your subconsciousness, your conscious mind, and your super mind as well, super consciousness, right? As they talk about those things, related to the thoughts, the logic, and the belief. The thought, the logic, and the belief. So when your thoughts a low frequency, your logic is low frequency, your belief in life is warped and low frequency. It affects your aura as well. That's why they say that when you want to raise your frequency, you need to work on these things, your mental body, your thoughts, your logic, and your belief. What am I believing that's actually not serving me? Okay, there's no right and wrong. It's about how it serves you, the value it adds to you. That's what it's all about. There is no right and wrong way of living, only a way that serves you or a way it does not serve you. So when you are living in a way that does not serve you, where your aura, your ethereal body is not healthy, it affects you on the physical level and also on the spiritual level. On the physical level, you'll get sick, you'll have sicknesses, you'll be depressed, a life of unhappiness, right? You're not able to manifest positive things in your life because your aura is not positive. It's not glowing lights, it's glowing, it's not even glowing, it's actually dimmed down. You understand? That kind of thing. Remember that they say that every human being with a soul is a spark of the divine God, divine source, right? So if you a spark, what do sparks do? They shine, they bright, they're on fire, right? So if you're living a life that's low frequency, your light dims down. You understand? You now minimizing yourself, basically, by doing things like engaging in alcohol, drugs, and stuff like that. You understand? Not forgiving people, not letting go, not being having self-love and appreciation. That's why it's a big thing in the spiritual community for us to learn about self-love and self-acceptance, because if you can't accept yourself, you can't accept your spark, you can't accept who you are, right? And that is low frequency. So when you cannot accept yourself, you can't accept others. You can't even accept life. You can't even live life in a more positive way. Very important, right? So all these things are very important for us to understand. We need to understand we are more than just a body. Okay, we are more than just a body. So if you have not as yet, go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel, right? Like and subscribe to my channel, all my videos, and remember that it's a growing channel, right? So it's all about the spirituality of who we are. It's all about how we can become better people in the physical world and also in our spiritual part as well. Because every single person has a spiritual part. It's up to you on which, if you're going to be open to it and connect to the divineness of who you are. Okay, so we're here for an experience of life, but we also need to understand that this experience of the physical life includes the spiritual and the physical. Okay, everything is connected, so above, so below. You cannot ignore the spiritual, okay, because you are the spiritual, you are spiritual, having a human experience. Okay, understanding who you are and taking power and living in sovereignty is very important, right? So as I said, if you have not subscribed as yet and you like my topics, go ahead, and you like the idea of self-development and spirituality coming together to make us holistic, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to click on the subscription button, okay? And then check out my videos and make comments and engage and ask me questions, okay? And if you are following me and subscribe to my channel, you can go ahead and also suggest some topics that you would like to speak about, right? I will be posting this live video and also making shorts as well, right? You can also find me on TikTok as well with the same name handle, manifest__Sisian, right? So if you're interested in TikTok videos are shorter, right, as well, just shorts, so you can go in the end and also follow me there as well, okay? So have a great week further. I hope this topic was interesting, and I hope it also opened you up to wanting to learn more, because my whole idea is to trigger people, right? Make you remember who you are. You understanding? And start asking us questions, and don't be afraid of who you are. Okay, I also do tarot, right? I'm gonna start doing very soon tarot readings on my lives at YouTube, right? Because I normally do them on TikTok, right? I will start doing these lives as well, and I'll include readings on my tarot. Now, tarot is very interesting, and everybody wants to know how it works. So if you want to know more about tarot and how it works, and why are people so interested in, why is it popping up now, and why is it becoming more popular, go ahead and find out, because tarot is all about the subconscious mind, and it helps you understand yourself. You can use it for shadow work as well. You understand like where you are now and why you are now, and then when you know why you are in a situation you're in now, your subconscious mind, you're able to then make decisions in your life. They can make you make better decisions and get you to a better place in life. Okay, thank you, Dragon Heart. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I love that. Thank you so much. I am growing. I'm growing my channel, right? Because I know that when it comes to social media, it's about the numbers, right? But then again, remember, there's so many people talking about different topics, okay? So whatever resonates with you, you take it, right? If it doesn't resonate with you, then it's fine as well. But self-development is about you exposing yourself to something different, something new, different type of perceptions, you understand? And then you will see if it resonates with you. If it doesn't, then you can go on and move on and find something that really resonates with you. That's why we have a vast pool of information and a vast pool of different type of social media content sharers and teachers, okay? Right? So I will hope you guys have a great week further. It's Sunday the 20th. We're coming to the end of the month of July. Yeah, I did a reading early on for July, right? I'm gonna make it a habit now to make videos too as well in my lives, where I'll do a reading for the month as well, because I already do it on my TikTok, okay? So guys, have a great week further, right? And don't forget to love yourself, to appreciate yourself, and always know that you are blessed, that you are deposited with the divine. You are not a sinner. Don't listen to what religion tells you. You can never be a sinner, because this is a place of choice. The gift of choice is yeah, freedom of choice, because everything's in order, you understand? So have a great week further, guys. Ciao.